This is the last programme in our series, and a chance to take a look back and to the future. These days, holiday camps come in all shapes and sizes, but the one thing they have in common is that none of them are called holiday camps anymore. Over the past few weeks, we've been to the site of the very first holiday camp at Caister-on-Sea, when they really were camping. Well, now we've come bang up to date with a visit to Potters near Lowestoft. It's not a camp anymore, notice, it's a leisure resort. And believe it or not, this is what some of the rooms look like these days. But Potter's founder was in at the beginning of the holiday camp movement.
Grandfather was a very poorly paid solicitor's clerk in Norwich, and in 1913 the telephone bell went to tell him he had won £500, and he went off to the First World War, one of the lucky ones to come back, and he reinvested the £500 in the first holiday camp in the country with timber huts, 1920. He, grandfather, had got the idea from Caister camp, which was then under canvas, and was a staunch socialist gathering spot, and inspired with the camaraderie and the idea of people going out picking their own vegetables, singing around the campfire, around the piano, etc., etc. He thought it was fantastic. He wanted to do it because at that stage he didn't have any money until he was fortunate enough to have these winnings. So I'm proud of my roots and the pioneer history of this industry.
It was definitely still a holiday camp when the Robertson family first came here. Cynthia and Mike as young children, with their respective parents, Doris and Jack.
When they first came, they were wooden shelters, and they didn't have toilets or bathrooms. You had to go down the end of the row, and they had about 6 or 8 toilets and 2 baths. So, you know, you had to go like that, you know. And you didn't have hot water, but you had a jug, and you went down the end of the row, and there was a hot water tap, and you got your jug of water and you took it back, you know.
We would take the kiddies down on the beach, and we'd take biscuits and sweets down. We'd give all day to the kiddies on the beach, and overnight we would put the kiddies down. People would do a camp patrol, tie a handkerchief on the door, come back to see a kiddie crying or heard a kiddie crying, and we had the evenings to ourselves.
Very much family holidays, with us all encouraged to take part in anything that was going on.
That was the holiday camp heyday, when the idea of joining in and making your own entertainment was in the spirit of the time.
The whole of the sort of centre of the camp has changed over the years, hasn't it?
Everything seems to have got bigger, doesn't it? Everything seems to have got bigger. And
from the dining hall being sort of relatively small, sort of Spartan in a way, I think it probably was.
Now
looking back, it's been made huger and with a very nice staircase. And there's no forfeits. You always used to be. They used to sing grace at the beginning of the meal. And then
there used to be someone on the door, and it used to be 1 o'clock. Used to be, and I used to think, always eat when you are hungry, always drink when you are dry, close your eyes when you are sleepy, don't stop breathing or you'll die.
And forfeits were a common theme, not just at Potter's.
You did sort of queue up for the gong to go, and if anybody was late, they had to sing, they had a forfeit. So you tried not to be late because you didn't want to have to perform in front of all these people.
One of them, the forfeits, was called fire drill. The entertainers were the fire, and the camp...
If you did it yourself,
Peters now has an entertainments team of 42, but it wasn't always like that.
Going back to the 50s, I can remember we didn't used to have any at all. And we used to keep our fingers crossed that amongst our then 420 people, there'd be somebody that could play the piano for free beer for the week. And, you know, in that era, we were never, ever let down. There was always somebody that could play the piano for, you know, good old times and sort of sing-alongs. And then, of course, in the later 50s, we then started to employ one entertainment person who used to flog themselves from early morning right through till late at night. And that dear person, as far as Potters was concerned, was, of course, our much respected Geoff Parsons.
Well, originally in 1952 I first came here, and I answered an advertisement in the stage. And at that time, I was answering every advertisement for a comedian in the stage at that time, and this happened to be the best of the bunch. I'd never seen a holiday camp before. Never seen a holiday camp. Didn't even know what they looked like. And you could say I was gobsmacked when I saw what I got to do, all by myself. I was shown my chalet. I think it was about 4 foot wide and about 6 foot long, I think, if I remember rightly. An iron bedstead. I'd had better accommodation in the 5 years I was in the army. And the roof, in the morning when I woke up, clanging on the roof, that was the seagulls on the roof. I think they had pit boots on that thing. If you wanted a bath in those days, you had to go to the office, and it cost sixpence, I think, at the time. It cost sixpence to have a bath. We used to do a show once or twice a week, mainly what we call a campus concert, which, of course, being the only entertainer, I had to rely very much on all the individual visitors helping me along if there were any talented people there. Some weeks we'd have lots and lots of talent, singers, even ventriloquists, conjurers and all sorts some weeks. Then other weeks there would be no talent at all. I'd be very reliant on just perhaps a few mediocre singers. When Brian Potter eventually took over, I mean, he moved the place from the high days to what it is now. You can't get away from that.
There has had to be change, but it's been part of the pleasure of my life to see each decade all those changes from the history that we've talked about, going right through the decades to come up to where we are now.